Then we'll get into some questions from the media.
All right. Let's start. Excited for next week. Obviously, had a great game last weekend, and now that we've celebrated that, time to move on and get working and for our next opponent. And that's what we're doing right now, and focus on Iowa State. Well-coached team with Matt Campbell, who's been there for a while, and honestly, he's done a great job with his coaches. The play callers are guys that have been there for a decade too. So, really good matchup. Well coached team. Watching them on film, they do all the little things right. And so it's not going to be easy going on the road. But I'm looking forward to the matchup with our team and our program. There's so a lot of really cool things that we can work on. I like the progress of our program right now, but we know there's going to be a lot of attention to detail, especially going over the game from last week and making that transition to prepping for this week and getting for this next game. And Iowa State's coming off of a bye, so they've had some extra time to prepare for us. So it's not going to be an easy task, but we knew going into it that this is the position we would be in, and that we'd have an opportunity to really improve. And we have a bye after this, and so we can really put all our efforts into this and do everything we can to give our best effort and make sure that we improve from last week to this week, and also make sure that we do our best to get ourselves in a good position for success. But that's easier said than done. Iowa State's a really well coached team with a lot of athletes and great players on in all three phases. And we're going to be in their home crowd, so that's always going to be a good challenge. But I'm looking forward to. I want our guys to embrace the opportunity and have fun with it. And it's going to be a really cool environment, and kickoffs at 2:30 there, 1:30 here, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So, what questions do you guys have for me?
We have any questions for Coach?
Nope, that's it. I'm out.
We'll start off with Jay Catch.
Yeah, Kalani, looking back, you said post game, you threw the pass to Chase Roberts. You said in the aftermath, you may have thought you may have kicked the field goal. Did you go back and look at that and decide you would have approached that differently by chance?
Yeah, I mean, I had to review all of it, but I felt like we made the right decision, and I feel like I mean, you kick the field goal, you go up two touchdowns. That's good, but they still, the whole point of that drive was to drain their timeouts, which we did, and ideally, you'd like to get the first down. I don't know if you need to take a shot to the end zone, but it would have been nice to, they were in zero coverage, and so it would have been nice to get that first down and then just end the game there. But um, we knew that we would have to play defense, but it'd be easier for us to play defense, making them drive the entire field and have them to score. And then we knew that we'd have to have our hands team out and that they would have to kick a onside kick. And I like our chances with all of that being said. And when the team's down, even worst case scenario, they get the onsides, they still have to score 3 points, and more than likely they're going to use three downs to get the 3 points rather than four downs to get the six, because they're forced to use four downs. And so you're looking at an opportunity for them to possibly kick a field goal in a hostile environment on a fourth down. And I think our defense could really answer to the call to all of that. So that's the mindset going into that. I would like to have converted the first down and end the game, but I do like the fact that we burned their timeouts and we're given opportunity that they had to you know recover an onside kick in order for them to even have a chance at the game, and we took care of it, and the game is the way it was.
We also asked Kyle Whittingham post game Saturday about analytics. He says he's by the book. Like, you look at the numbers, you make your decision. How do you handle analytics? Is there a gut feeling that you can add into that element, or are you by the book when it comes to your analytics, breaking down
Well, the
film?
book the book recommended that we kick the field goal, and I didn't want to. So that's and that's I think I do like looking at analytics, but I also want to have a gut feel for everything, and there's some human element to it for myself.
Next question from Jay Drew.
Kalani, how did you guys come out of that game health-wise, physically? And then also, I was just wondering if Sione Moa or JoJo Phillips, if there's any chance they'll return shortly to the lineup.
Yeah, we're looking forward to those guys coming back soon. But I don't know if we'll be ready for this week, but we'll see. I mean, that's a day-to-day thing. That's why we announce it on Wednesday, Jay, so you guys can see what's happened, but a lot can happen in the next 2 days. So, but yeah, I mean, we're looking for, and then in terms of this last week, I thought we came out. I mean, the guys are banged up, but I think everybody that played in that game should play in this next one too. We'll see.
Next question from Kyle Ireland.
Kalani, you guys didn't have a third down conversion on offense until the second half. What can you do to make it more consistent throughout the game as opposed to, having to convert those conversion downs later in the game to really, come back when you guys were down 14-10 there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have to give defense a lot of credit. Utah put us in some difficult positions. On the short yardage one, those are the ones you like to convert, but it's going to be a back and forth game. I feel like we can utilize our punter to be a weapon for us. He can usually flip the field for us, and we punted and got a muff punt from that. So you just keep playing the game, and you don't worry too much about trying to win it in one play. And sometimes things go your way, sometimes they don't. I mean, looking in the game altogether, we held on to the lead for a long time until I think we're out of the lead maybe for just a couple minutes, and that's fine. We got it back, and we're able to hang on to it and add 2 scores on it. And I think the rest is history. I think looking at what we did in this game, I wouldn't. I mean, considering what was going on at the time, I felt like we made some really good decisions according to the game plan.
Next question from Sam Foster.
Coach, after the game, you opened up your press conference talking for quite a while about Kyle Whittingham and your relationship with him and kind of the guy that he is. Why did you feel that it was important to open up your statements talking about Kyle?
Well, Kyle played at BYU, and so we always have this appreciation for people that have been through here. Look at all the players that are coaching now, and from Sarkisian at Texas and Andy Reid that's at Kansas City Chiefs. And those that are out there, I mean, that have come through BYU, Bronco Mendenhall and Utah State. And if you've been part of this family, I think it's important for us to recognize that. So he played here, had a great career here, and he's done a great job as a head coach. And so my thing is he's been a mentor to me. And so there's a lot of great things I learned from him. And I just wanted people to know the person that I respect and love, and maybe they don't understand him as well as I do. And I think what I was trying to do is give them an idea of why he's so important to me, and why people probably don't know. Obviously, you guys don't know him as well as I do, but yeah, he's super important to my life, and just want to make sure that he and his family know I appreciate them, everything that they've done for me, and I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them.
Next question from Brandon Gurney.
Yeah, Coach, one of your players, I believe it was Chase, brought up in post game that last year after you guys beat Utah, you lost 2 straight, and the focus needs to be to not make that happen again. Has that been addressed, and what makes this year different in that regard?
Well, just because you have to learn from the past. I mean, we just had to do some things different. I think last year it was such an emotional game, and everything went into it. It's the same thing like this year, where you put so much energy into it, and maybe it was a buildup of the game week itself, and then the energy at the game and being on the road. But then, when we got back in the buses, we came back here to Provo, and we had, I mean, thousands and thousands of the whole student section was here in our parking lot. We couldn't even get out of our buses for a couple hours. I mean, they had Will Ferrin crowd surfing, and so it kind of delayed us getting to bed. And as much as we enjoyed the energy and loved it, it kind of delayed us getting our sleep so you could get to church the next morning, but you just saw how much people loved it, and maybe our attention to the detail and the urgency for the next week didn't go well, but probably had something to do with the week. I knew that going into this game, and that when we saw it on the schedule, that we didn't perform at our best against Kansas the next week. And we need to do things a little bit differently, and need to be more deliberate and intentional about what we want to get done, how we're going to learn from this game, how we're going to put it away, and how we can't just be, I mean, the game's done. We've got to move on, us and Utah, and regardless of whether it's a victory or a defeat, you have to move on. You have to find ways to get better, You have to make sure that you don't have the lasting effect of a game one week linger on to the next. And so we're fortunate because we have this game coming up against Iowa State, and then we have a bye, so we can really look forward to doing everything we can to use all our energy going into this game, knowing that there's going to be a little bit of rest after that. So, with that being said, and we're talking to Dr. Main, a sports scientist, and we've devised a plan to get ourselves in a better position. We can do on ourselves intentionally, and we can do all that, and still not good enough. But at least we're going to do our part and make sure that um, we focus on trying to find ways to be at our best this weekend.
Next question from Mitch Harper.
Kalani, to follow up on that, you've noted often this year that you and the sports scientist have pretty much mapped out this entire year. When you and Dr. Main looked at this week, what adjustments did you make in preparations for avoiding a potential letdown of sorts, or if you will, getting ready for Iowa State week?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have time to explain everything that we've done, but we're definitely doing things different now than we did last week, but we're also doing things differently now than we did, from last year. And so there's a lot of things that we could do that the science shows that if you put yourself in a better position, whether that's health or getting our minds right, and maybe our focus, that all that stuff we're working on. And I'm not going to let everybody know what we're doing, but I think it could be a competitive advantage for us.
And then just wanted to ask you, you've talked a lot about being hungry and humble. How confident are you that Bear, following a memorable win and the attention's going to grow for him, how confident are you that Bear will stay hungry and humble going forward as the season progresses?
He's the exact definition of it. That's why. I mean, you guys have been watching him. Have you seen any of the success go to his head at all? He is humble. He's thinks of others. He's a great teammate. And so it's great to have him and the coaches and everybody that's bought into what we're trying to focus on, which is a team. Um, I mean, he did service, on his time off, and so this young man gets it, and we just need to make sure that we keep putting him in a position where he can really thrive in the humble and stay humble and stay hungry standard that we've set. And I think he'll do really well for the rest of the team too. But he does that automatically. I wish I could take credit for that, but that's already ingrained in him from his family.
Next question from Jake Hatch.
Yeah, Kalani, Iowa State's coming off a bye. What's the biggest challenge about facing a team that's had an extra week to prepare for you guys?
Yeah, we've been in that position where we've had some extra time to prepare, so we know it could be a benefit. You just have to be ready for a lot of different things, and I think what one thing that we've learned from this year is that we've seen a lot of different things that maybe doesn't show up on film week to week, and so when a team's given an extra week to prepare for us, it's probably a definite that we're going to be able to see things that they haven't put on film yet. So we just have to anticipate it and see some of the things that maybe we might have struggled with in the first 7 games that they might try to capitalize on. And we just have to be ready for all of it. And that's what the focus will be on us in all 3 phases going into this game.
A lot of good quarterbacks in this league, but where do you think Rocco Beck stacks up, and what do you make of him as a quarterback?
Oh yeah, really good. And you look at what he can do with. I mean, he can throw the ball. He can run too, and just the demand that he has and the understanding of the offense. And then I mean it helps that his background, having a father that played, and a well coached team. I mean that's you put a big physical line in front of him, and a run game with the running backs that can do a lot of different things. Talented tight ends. These guys are big and they're strong, and it's going to be a physical game. We're going to have to play at our best, and we're looking forward to it. Though I think this could really get us to another level of competition. Our guys see it on film, and they're really well coaches. Not a lot of uh, weaknesses in this team. So I'm looking forward to it. I just got to make sure that our guys are ready for this game.
Next question from Jay Drew.
Kalani, 2 years ago, Iowa State got you guys pretty good. Since that time, you've only lost 4 games, all 4 by one-score games, basically. Was there something about that game that kind of caused you guys to maybe refocus or redouble your efforts? with it being more physical? What was it about that game that kind of turned everything around?
Yeah, I mean, I think looking at it, we made a lot of mistakes, if I remember correctly, and didn't really help ourselves with some turnovers. And so, but just being committed to getting bigger and stronger, especially at the O line and D line, I felt like there's a commitment to do that. And what a great experience for our guys, though. I mean, some of our guys that are still playing had that experience, and they know the importance of the off season and getting bigger and stronger. They did that, and so we're a different team than 2 years ago, and I'd like to think we're a more physical team than we were, but we'll find out. We'll see what happens on Saturday and see if our guys are going to be ready for that. But we challenged our guys to be physical against Utah and felt like defensively we were physical. And a lot of the run game didn't go through the inside. They didn't go through the middle. A lot of it was outside runs, big plays on the fly sweep and things like that. And I'm okay with it. I think we handled the running backs for the most part, except for the outside stuff. So that's probably more on us as coaches, making sure that we get the outside, the exterior, as solid as we had the inside. And I thought for the most part we knocked them back. And then on O line, we challenged the O line to be physical, and that's what we did. The run yards were downhill, right up the middle. Whether it was LJ running the ball or Bear. A lot of it was an inside run game, and you saw the movement from our line getting knocked back. It wasn't like that all the time, but they're tough earned yards. And LJ started. We wanted to just keep wearing him out. I just wish we could have converted that last series into a first down, but I like the way the guys, how physical they were, and maybe it doesn't show up in the stats, but you look at the inside yards that we got. I feel like we should be really proud of how physical we were in that game.
Next question from Sean Walker.
Yeah, Coach, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Fale Satawala. It just feels like the last couple of games, he just keeps kind of one-upping himself, just building on the last one, getting better and better. And last week in particular, with the kind of the depth, the hit that your guys' depth took at a strong safety. Just have you noticed anything about him these last couple weeks or maybe couple months where it seems like he just keeps getting better and better the way he is?
We've known that Fale was going to be a baller from the beginning. That's why he played as a true freshman, and we knew that that the potential is there, and the sky's the limit for this young man. He can do a lot of different things, and he's got the speed that can cover and he can run. And he's a unique player to have that type of size and that length and that speed and that understanding of how physical he can be, combined with his coverage skills. I mean, he's starting to really come into his own. I'm really proud of the way he's progressed and the way that Jay's been able to coach him. And so I think he's doing some really cool things. He can play free and strong for us. And him and Tanner did some really good things. And you look at with Raider not playing and with Tommy not playing, those guys had to step up. Talon and Alfrey had to step up, and then so we feel good about our depth. But he was more of a co-starter than he was a depth guy. We knew that he was going to play for us even as a freshman, and he's doing great things for us now as a sophomore.
Our last question will be from Mitch Harper.
Yeah, Kalani, I wanted to ask about some other young defensive personnel that, making an impact for your team. We saw the debut of Jonathan Cabella. Want to get your thoughts on him. And then also the last couple of weeks, we're seeing more of Nusi Taumoepeau. What are you seeing from Nusi that is giving him an opportunity to play in significant key spots to your defense?
Yeah, I mean, we with both Cabella and Nusi, we had to bring them along, Caballo's going through some injuries, and we're still working with how many reps we want to keep working with those guys. But he's ready to get as many reps as we can put on him, and you put him with the DNs that we've had been playing. I mean, Nusi's done a great job, but it's also like Tausili Akana have been able to do some really cool things, and then Orion has been doing some amazing things at DN. We have a bunch of DNs that can play and outside backer types, and that's with Hunter Clegg and Bodie Schoonover and Vil Poha and Logan Latui. So we have a bunch of guys that can play a bunch of different things, and some of those DNs can even play inside. So I think K-Pop and Sione have done a great job with the D line. We challenged them to be physical. I thought they did that. in this game. Obviously, I think the chunk yardage that they were able to get were most of the outside run. So we got to get better at that. I imagine Iowa State's going to test us with the outside run, and we got to have an answer when that does happen. So, but in terms of downhill, line of scrimmage, felt good about us on both sides, and O-line and D-line, being able to get some knockback and control the line of scrimmage for us.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Next up, we'll have Waylon Lapuaho.
Did you